Right, morning guys. It is just coming up to 11 o'clock, Saturday, or we about the 9th of October I think it is. So yeah, Saturday the 9th, and I am finally down on my local club water. I've been a member since, what was it, June 16th, but with all the other fishing trips I've had planned in, work and just generally things getting in the way, I've not actually got down here for a session, but I'm here today. It's bright blue skies. It was very foggy first thing this morning up until about 10 o'clock, but in the last half hour sun's really come out, cleared the area. I've got the car loaded up and I've come down here, so I'm just having a look round a couple of the swims. I think I'm going to give this one here a go. So really nicely sort of set up swims, got plenty of space. I think what I'm going to do is stick one off the reed line on the island there, maybe one out in open water, and possibly one down the cut there towards the side of the island. But we'll have a look round. There's a few fish showing. It is quite, some say we're 10th of October, but it was 20 degrees yesterday, so it's still decent warm weather. But we'll get the car unloaded and see if we can't get some fish out. Right, I'm just getting the rod set up. You see I've got the first one out. I've sent that one out with one of these 12mm krill pink pop-ups on. So that's going to be sat about an inch or so above the bottom, and then on this next rig you can see I'm just going to throw out a snowman rig on an IQD. I've got the hook I'm using is one of the Carp online size 6 scorpion cranks, and so that's the one that gives us the nice, I'll turn that round, you can see it's just got a slightly curved hook or a bit of a curve on the point of the hook there, and if you really look close you can see the hook is razor sharp. So I'm going to throw that out. I've got one of the PVA mesh sticks, which is basically a mix of pellet, chopped up boilies and some of the sticky krill liquid. It's one of the Godman PVA mesh sticks, so I'll be sticking that on there. I've measured up the distance and basically I've just cast one out just to off the lily line there, just off the edge of the island, and then this next one's going to go off the point of the island, probably about half a rod length or so away from that bed of lilies. So I'm going to get this second rod cast out, and then I think the third one I'm probably just going to put out in the middle there on a manila bait. So we get in there, we'll get these cast out, and then try and get all the bivvy and everything set up. Right guys, it's just coming up to 10 to 3, so the rods have been in a couple of hours now. I'm just having a look up the lake where I'm fishing, so I've got my swim is just back there, and I've got my left hand rod is now basically directly between me and that bivvy, just off the reed line there. My right hand rod is in front of this willow, my middle rod is in front of this willow tree, again just off of the lilies. My right hand rod I've actually cast down the bank, down in this little channel here. I'm just having a wander along just to see if I can see anything, and there's you can see there, fairly sizable carp just sat in the lilies. I have just watched another one swim away from that sort of area and pretty much right over the top of my spot, so I've definitely got a couple of carp in the area. I have been seeing a few shows down here, which is why I've moved one of the rods. But you can see there's quite a lot of lilies, or there's quite a decent sized lily bed all the way around the island and out to this edge here. In fact, there's another carp, won't get too close, but there's another carp I can just see under the surface there as well. So hopefully I'm in the right area, certainly for a couple of carp that I can see, and they do tend to seem to be making their way up and down this bank, so we'll keep the rods where they are. Might have a recast later on, but so I can definitely see there's a few fish in this area, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we can once this sun stops beating down, because it is very bright and warm out here at the moment, hopefully they'll go on the feed. It's supposed to cloud up this afternoon and this evening overnight, so hopefully they'll get on the feed later on. At the moment they're probably just basking in the last of the late summer sun, so we'll see, but it certainly looks fairly promising at the moment. We just had a what sounded like a very hefty carp just launch itself out of the lake right down over my spot. You see the aftermath of it, was all the ripples and everything come out into the main part of the lake, but as I said earlier, it certainly shows they're there. Hopefully they stay there and get down on my bait. Right, it's just gone 20 past 4. I've had a couple of beeps on the right hand rod, and something very small, I'm guessing, is giving my right hand rod little tugs, little pulls constantly, so I don't know if I've got something small has managed to hook itself, or something's messing about. It's been going on for the last few minutes. I think I'm just going to have to bring it in and have a look and see what's going on, because you can see that I'm getting loads of little tugs on the rod. So something's on there. I think I'm going to have to reel it in, check what's going on. Alright, so I've had a recast of that right hand rod, having brought it in and found out I'd managed to hook a little rud, or I've recast that out. As I said, I was getting constant little knocks on the rod. I was like, there's obviously something there messing about with it, and reel it in, and got a 4-inch rud on there. So we're back out on the spots again. Let's hope the carp come on the feed instead of the rud. Right, it's just gone 4:45, and as you saw from that last screaming run, I now have a 4-inch rud and a £1/2 silver bream to show for my efforts on the lake. So the fish are getting bigger. That's the one benefit or bonus we can take from it so far, but we shall hopefully start getting into some carp at some point. I suppose you have to get through some of this stuff on a new lake before you start hitting the big ones. So we'll keep going. Rod's back out on the spot, so let's hope we can tempt a carp or a catfish to come out instead. Right, it's just coming up to 5:30. As you see, the sun is starting to set beyond the horizon. I think it gets dark probably about 6:30 now, so I've probably got about an hour's worth more of usable light, and then after that it's going to be darkened up. So the fish are starting to top, starting to see quite a bit more activity all over the lake. We'll just have to wait and see if they now get their heads down. The temperature's definitely dropping since that sun's gone behind the tree over there. You could feel the sudden drop by a good 3 or 4 degrees, but it's supposed to still stay double figures overnight, sort of 10-11 degrees, so it's certainly not going to get frosty, but so hopefully that little bit of cold air coming down will push them down in the water and onto my spots. That's the plan, that's the hope. We'll just have to see how we go over the next few hours overnight, and then first thing tomorrow. Alright, so it's just coming up to 10 to 7. As you can see, we're very much down to the last bits of light now. The alarms are all lighting up for the night. The first few bats I've seen flying around as well, so talking of which, we'll probably, obviously unless we get something in the night, probably won't see much now until the morning, so fingers crossed for something overnight, and see how we get on. Right, it's just gone 20 past 4 in the morning. I've just had a screaming run on the right hand rod, struck into it, and that's the one down the channel. Struck into it, played the fish, definitely a carp, played that for 5 or 6 seconds, felt some decent weight on it, and then pulled through, unfortunately, in the weed over on the right hand side. And when I brought it back, it just had a couple of strands of the single lily pad on it, so I've just baited that back up, recast it, and just thrown a load more of the manila boilies out there over the spot again, so hopefully we can get them back on the feed again and maybe get another run. But we've had our first proper carp run on this lake anyway. Right, morning guys. It's just coming up to about 8 o'clock. I've just got the kettle on for a first coffee of the day. I didn't get much sleep last night. I was up at 10 past 4 for that carp, and then basically I think I might have got about an hour's sleep after that, so just been watching the water this morning, been up for the last hour and a half, something like that. There's still a few fish showing, topping out. I've recast the middle rod tight up against the line of lilies there, just in front of that willow. The left hand rod is still off the point, and the right hand rod, when I recast last night, was basically back into that shadow area there. So we'll leave them there for the rest of the trip. I've got to pack up in about an hour and a half, something like that. So we'll see how we get on over that time. But we've learnt a few bits so far this session, and that's what it's been all about really on this lake, is finding out what the bottom's like, where the decent spots are. And that's obviously something that's going to take a bit of time, and plenty of return visits, but hopefully it will prove worth it in the end, and we'll start getting some carp out. I suppose it's to be expected in October, but BBC weather is currently saying chance of rain 5%. So what's it doing? Just as we're all trying to pack up, it's pissing it down. Not heavy, well, I'd say not too heavy, but always when you're trying to dry your bivvy out.